Joining us now is the chair of the DNC Women's Caucus, Lottie Shackelford, and MSNBC political analyst and former executive director of the New York State Democratic Party, the great Basil Schmeichel. Can I just start by playing a little sound by Joe Biden? Because, you know, we talk a lot about how the president should get out there and do more, and I think his events yesterday in Michigan really make that case. He had a town hall style event of all things, and he answered questions, and here's one about what he had to say on the rich paying their fair share. Take a listen.
For the longest time, I was too young because I was the second youngest man ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm too old. But I know, hopefully, with a little bit of age comes a little bit of wisdom. And hopefully that in this moment, I think the alternative is not much of an alternative. And I do think ethics matter. I do think decency matters. I do think we should reflect with the American. We're an optimistic, we're a decent, we're an honorable country.
Right away. Okay, that was not the rich paying their fair share. We do have another one of the president talking about the rich paying their fair share, and I think it's a good dichotomy. Like, he's answering these questions about that Julie just spoke to, frankly, about what is happening in Washington, D.C., and people calling for him to get out of the race. And then people are asking him very substantive questions that have to deal with his policy platform, and this is what he had to say.
Look, if you can go make $1 million, make $1 million. You make it $500 million, make it. Just pay your fair share as you go along. Just pay your taxes. Just pay a fair share. And so I decided I was going to end the trickle-down economics, where, you know, if the wealthy do well, everybody else does well. That not a lot trickled down to my dad's kitchen table. And so I decided we're going to build the economy from the middle out.
Ms. Lottie, the people are your members calling for Joe Biden to drop out, especially after seeing things like that yesterday?
My members are not calling for Joe Biden to step out. In fact, they're calling and yelling and saying, what's wrong with these Democrats? You know, they better stop being teddy bears and start being some grizzly bears here, because we've got to fight. We've got to fight to win. And whoever said life was going to be easy, they know it's going to be a hard fight. But all of my members are calling me saying, okay, what else can I do? What can you all do? Where's the roadmap? You know, let's work on that and stop just complaining and complaining. You know, our democracy is at stake. And they've just been very adamant about we keep in this fight, and Joe Biden is in the fight, and we're in the fight with him.
So let's put side by side, Basil, what we heard from Julie Surkins reporting that's coming from Capitol Hill, side by side with what you were hearing from Ms. Shackelford. I'm curious what you think both about Julie's timeline that she laid out as the likely path forward, and sort of your sense, like, what's it going to take for this to stop and go away?
So on the timeline, I do think the timeline's important, and I've been saying this for a while. This cannot go on for another week. It just can't. We don't have the time. We don't have the resources. Joe Biden on his worst day is orders of magnitude better than Donald Trump on his best day. And it annoys me and infuriates me that more Democrats have not just come out and said that, even if they want to have this conversation behind the scenes, because the longer that we sort of have that there's this infighting publicly, it takes away from Democrats being able to focus on Donald Trump. So you cannot go another week to 2 weeks in this sort of chaotic period and be showing that to the voter. I would also say Joe Biden has, and I want to go to the glasses for a second, Joe Biden right now.
That's when I know you're serious.
I am serious. Yes, Joe Biden right now has 3,896 delegates. And on Thursday night, he said, come get them. And that level of that brazenness, if you will, that sign of strength is really what voters are looking for. They see it. And why is it that there's this difficulty in saying, okay, here we are back to square one, let's go.
Ms. Shackelford, that is the thing for me. The president's drawn the line in the sand. He said, okay, you want it, come get it. You'd see me on the convention floor. I got 3,800. What you got? You have all these people flapping their lips, And not one of them have named a replacement who can beat Donald Trump. Oh, and then you have the situation that when they do say Joe, stand down, they don't automatically fall back on Kamala Harris. So what do you think this inside Washington game, because folks, let's be clear, that's what this is. This is not the rank and file of Democrats, as Ms. Shackelford noted. Her members aren't calling for this. I mean, even within the Hispanic caucus, you had, Axios reporting that out of that haywire meeting with Hispanic Democrats, President Biden's meeting with the members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus on Friday didn't go as planned. Really? It didn't? And with one lawmaker even urging him to drop his reelection bid, according to sources. So Mark Levin then later makes that public. Okay. But where's everybody falling all over themselves to push him out? So what's your assessment of what's going on here? You've been in Washington enough to know the crazy that sometimes consumes itself. And in this case, it's trying to consume Joe Biden as well. What's your assessment of how this thing is actually playing out between the base and the elites in the Democratic Party?
Well, the base is saying, look, we're here. Joe Biden is our nominee, and we're supporting him. And they're not wavering. I was getting calls even the day after the debate and the night of the debate saying, well, where are the Democrats out there supporting our own? As they say, the Republicans stand up and they're supporting a convicted felon. And here we are, a man of honesty and integrity, and a man who has done an excellent job as president of these United States. And we're here wavering. So the rank and file, they're sick and tired. They truly are sick and tired of folk not saying, okay, let's get out here and win this race. If our democracy is so important, let's get out here and fight for it. Joe Biden has said to us, he is in the race and he is staying in the race. So I don't know what folk are talking about. I'm waiting on him to make a decision. He has made a decision. And that's what people are calling and saying to me. I talked with Virgie Rollins, who is chair of the Democratic National Committee's Black Caucus, and she said her members are out over the map calling and saying, what is wrong? Democrats, get some backbone. Democrats, get some spine. Let's get out here and work. Life for us ain't been no crystal stair, so why should we expect it now? Get out here and fight.
I mean, this point, I think hearing from the members is so important. And I mean, Basil, you used to be a Democratic Party chair, again, of New York State. People don't understand the rules, and I think that is what has just perplexed me through this entire process. It's like you talk about the number of delegates that the president has. They don't understand the rules. Right. The members of Congress that are calling for the president to get out, they don't even have a vote on the first ballot, thanks to my former boss, Bernie Sanders. Superdelegates don't even have a vote on the first ballot. So it is the pledged delegates like Ms. Lottie and her members that are going to make this decision here. And if the president says he's staying and the pledged delegates said they're with him, what are folks doing?
Well, it's a very important point, and I talk about this a lot in a sort of public policy conversation. Sometimes process is almost as or just as important as the outcome, and the process here is that you have these district-level pledged delegates who ran for office, campaigning both for themselves and for Joe Biden to say, no, this is our guy. So number one, the millions of voters have already cast their ballot. Anything that happens now happens within a much smaller group of people. I wonder if voters are going to end up trusting that process, number one. Number two, as you said before, Bernie Sanders ran on this issue, that people who were elites within the party not subvert the will of the voter. And the concern is that are Democrats in a position to really talk the voter through that process and make them feel comfortable and confident in that. And I would also say, just very quickly, to Michael's point before, even whoever is next, and my concern is that all these folks that are coming out, as Michael said, haven't in the same breath said Joe Biden should step down, but Kamala Harris should replace him. What about the attacks against Kamala? Are these individuals prepared to defend her in the ways that she needs to be defended if she is at the top of the ticket. And frankly, I don't think so. So this open casting call that we seem to have, or that Democrats seem to have for whoever is going to be next, it seems just to be sort of empty right now, because it's trying to lift some people to a platform that they probably shouldn't have right now.
He says politely.
I say politely.
I mean, Michael, look now. Basil, thank you. Miss Lottie, thank you very, very much.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.